Hello, my friends, and welcome to live coverage of GP Birmingham. On your screens, of course, we have two wizards ready to do battle here. Autumn Burchett playing against Simon Nielsen. Simon Nielsen on scape shift. I had a chat with him earlier about this. Autumn Burchett, not exactly sure what she's brought to bear, although I can see some mountains. I can see some wooded foothills. Looks like we're going to see some sparks fly once again here in the feature match area. Both these players 4-0 so far. You're in the capable hands of Moraine Libert and the hands of Riley Knight next to him as well. It's a great pleasure to have your company. Welcome along for our weekend of modern magic here. It's already now Burchett down to 19 as she goes and finds a forest. And Simon Nielsen, look at those mountains, Moraine Libert.
There's a forest.
In Simon Nielsen's hand.
Yeah, he's on escape shift. And Autumn seems to be on Magus of the Moon deck.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Going very deep here. This isn't... We're going to see a turn one play here for Burchett. Is that an Averson's Pilgrim?
Yep.
Jeez.
And Noble Hierarch.
Noble Hierarch also.
Turn two, Magus of the Moon coming down.
Jeez, well this...
or Mirror Crusader are also quite good.
This could spell some bad news here for Nielsen. This is the sort of deck that every now and again, bit of a glass cannon here in the hands of Burchett, because every now and again they can just get up and about, and all of a sudden you're looking down the barrel of a free win, really. Cards like Mirror Crusader and even, you know, Blood Moon type effects. Hugely impactful when brought to bear in the right matchups here.
Mirror Crusader basically unbeatable when you land it against Dead Shadow, because they don't run Lightning Bolt anymore. Your Terminate doesn't hit it, Fatal Push doesn't hit it.
Explore for Nielsen, draws a card. Another Explore here, and it's going to be Mountain and Lightning Bolt the Noble Hierarch. A little bit of breathing room here. Nielsen, interestingly, choosing to play Lightning Bolt. Some Scape Shift players choosing to completely eschew the card.
Yep.
Burchett on the slow roll. Got the Yam Wing Chun slow draws here. And Athalia also in her hands here. That's pretty important against all of the 2-mana ramp spells that Nielsen will be looking to play.
Yeah, there's Thalia, but there's also Champion of Parish and Averson's Pilgrim. But she's going for Thalia, it seems. Trying to slow down Simon. Simon?
It is Simon. Simon's got the... Simon Nielsen has the old triple Explore draw here. So he's going to be able to play 2 lands if he has them. He does indeed have them, Wooded Foothills and a Mountain, ramping him up nicely, but not able to cast that second Explorer, of course, because of the tax imposed by the Guardian of Thraben. Burchett now, Champion of the Parish. And an Averson's Pilgrim. So that would explain the presence of the Pilgrim. It looks like we're on straight up human type deck here, if we've got Champion of the Parish getting up and about. Thalia in for 2. And it's back to Nielsen.
Inspector Nielsen?
It's back to Nielsen. It's back to Inspector Nielsen, who moonlights as a crime fighter in his spare time. I got the chance to catch up with Nielsen, as I mentioned, and he was talking about his approach to the format, especially wanting to break open the mirror in when it comes to playing Scape Shift against other players. And Witchbane Orb is his super secret tech. Well, not anymore, I guess. Whoops.
Pretty good against Burn too.
Yeah, a lot of random upside, especially because a lot of the time it will come down on turn 4. Or turn 3, I should say. Another Explore. Excuse me, says Burchett. I'll get you for another mana there. It's going to cost you 3.
No 5th land, despite running probably 27, 26 lands. Doesn't find his land. It's very unusual for a deck to run 27 lands and that many Farseek or type effects. But it's just what you want to do with Titan Shift. You don't want to miss any of your first 5 or 6 land drops. Fortunately for Simon, Autumn didn't find the red source yet, so no Magus coming down.
So Burchett now considering her options as we see 3 mana on the table and another land in hand, perhaps not. Okay, counting up how things are going to pan out. Mirror Crusader the play now for Burchett. It's going to bump up the Champion, and in it comes along with Thalia. Tight a little attack for 5 here.
She got the kill next turn.
Yes.
With the Mayor.
Oh, the Mayor of Averook.
Yeah. Simon did find his 6th land.
Being brought to the table by Burchett here. And yes, it is a stomping ground, the draw for Nielsen. So
can he actually kill? She's at 19. Otherwise, Simon could summon Respect for Sakura Tribe Elder, play it, sacrifice it, get 7 lands, Scape Shift, and deal 18. But she's at 19.
Not going to be quite enough
Oh,
here.
actually, it doesn't work with the Thalia here.
So Nielsen goes and gets a Forest. Interesting he didn't get a Cinderglade there. and now it's Primeval Titan. So that's an important play here, although it doesn't hold off the Mirren Crusader, of course. Valakut is coming down, in addition to a Stomping Ground. And no need to hold it off, as we see a Valakut trigger aimed right at the dome of the 2-2 Double Striker.
Does she find a red source? Cavern of Souls would do it. Ooh, Windswept Heath. So we have a game here.
Okay. Windswept Heath should be able to fetch out a red source for this Magus of the Moon here.
No, she didn't. Not picking any Sacred Foundry.
No. None at all. No Stomping Grounds. Forgot to play Mountains.
Just basics.
Just basic Mountains. I'm sure we're going to see a red source come down for Burchett here. And that, yes, this could be very troublesome indeed. Sacred Foundry, the pick. Very troublesome for Nielsen. As all of these... I mean, Escape Shift wants a lot of mountains in play.
Yeah.
It's a lot of them.
But not all of them.
Not all of them.
He needs to find another lightning bolt. He might only run a couple. And in one turn, the champion of the parish will be big enough to attack past the Primeval Titan.
Jeez. Okay. So no attacks here for Burchett, you would think, in the face of the 6-6 Trampler, as she ships it back to Nielsen now. So it's lightning bolt or bust here for Nielsen. He has the onboard win, assuming that he can get rid of the Magus of the Moon. And interestingly, picking a forest out of his deck. Maybe he knew this was coming?
Yeah, maybe.
Because obviously the obvious pick would have been Cinderglade there just to keep up the number of mountains. But no. It means that Nielsen is able to cast this Secure Tribe Elder. That's gonna gain him some life here.
Yeah, but now Autumn might be able to play a second Magus of the Moon. Then he needs double Lightning Bolt or Anger of the Gods.
Anger would be a nice one to clean up this mess that has been made. All these humans hanging out on the left-hand side of your screen.
All these humans? That's not a mess. Come on.
No? You're loving it?
I loved it.
You're loving it. All right.
It just shows how you can...
Yeah, you can.
It's not called hate bears, really. It's human aggro.
It's hate humans.
Come on. Human aggro.
Human aggro.
Naya humans?
All right.
Probably most fitting one. Naya humans. I think I would just go for the insurance. Second Magus of the Moon here.
Mm-hmm.
Get yourself insurance against Lightning Bolt. I don't think Autumn can kill.
So
going for Mirren Crusader. Seems, yeah.
Mirren Crusader coming down now for Burchett as we see this champion of the parish go way upstairs. And she's got a ship to turn once again. Nielsen. Another forest, you would imagine.
Does he have more bolts? I don't see any. Oh, there's a Sweltering Suns and a Lightning Bolt.
All right.
2 outer.
All right, well. We'll see how the old Moto Shuffler treats Simon Nielsen here. Burchett's going to cut his deck, and he's going to hope that those cards are somewhere near the top here, because it's one of the only ways for him to get out of this. Magus of the Moon doing an absolute number on the Escape Shift deck here.
Is there a green creature that kills a creature when it comes into play?
Not unless it's
green-black one, maybe?
Yeah, perhaps.
That he can search up with Summoner's Pact?
We haven't seen this sort of technology in the Escape Shift decks. So, Nielsen now. It's Magus of the Moon absolutely playing havoc with his battle plans here.
He drew a third Escape Shift.
Jeez.
He could maybe fire off one just to make sure he doesn't draw extra lands.
Summoner's Pact. Costs 1. Oh, Burchett doesn't miss a trick.
Yeah, she's really on point.
Yeah. And it's going to be Thragtusk. Okay, look at this. A surprise little performance here from the darling of yesteryear, 2013. This guy was really getting amongst it, but obviously 5 mana are a little too much in many of these older formats.
Yeah, it's like a one-off in most sideboards, but main deck it's kind of unusual. Does he have enough if he has to pay Pact? Can he still Bolt plus? Yeah, he's actually 1 mana. No, he's got it right enough to pay Pact, Bolt plus Escape Shift. I'm sure he thought about that, because otherwise playing the Summoner's Pact is not the best deal.
You can see Nielsen there, very ready to remember to pay for the pack. That enormous big die put on top of his library. He's not wanting to miss a trick here. Doom Traveller.
It'd be a shame if he missed that one.
Yeah.
Ah!
Oh, sorry, this is Thalia's Lieutenant. What am I talking about? It's got very similar art to Doom Traveller, but that's going to really pump up the jam on these guys. Look at that. And now we've got a Mayor of Averbrook just to push things into the stratosphere even further. So all of these creatures gaining huge bonuses thanks to the cards Burchett has played this turn. Those two little 2-drops really putting in the work. And this is going to be a very tricky one for Nielsen here. He can line up some blocks, but all the same, at 14 against this massive army, we've got a 4-power Thalia, a 1 billion power Champion of the Parish. Mirren Crusaders getting up and about as well, attacking for 8. And here we go. Sending him in.
6, 8. 8. Gotta block that one. Yeah.
So it's an attack for 19.
Yeah, probably gonna see a jump here. With the Tractors, get a beast. Even double block the champion. Yeah, Magus of the Moon.
Yeah, getting it done here against the old Scapeshift deck. And you can see Simon Nielsen head in hands. Unsure as to how to navigate these very treacherous waters here. Maybe looking to line up a double block or so.
Still surprised Autumn didn't go for the second Magus. I mean, she's dead anyway to Sweltering Suns, so there's no reason to play around that card. You might as well play around the second bolt. I mean, if you attack for 4 here, you put Simon at 10. And then next turn you just attack for enough. Seems like the better play to me.
Well, still in a reasonably commanding position here, you would say.
Simon really giving it. He kind of wants to find a way to survive next turn as well, in case he doesn't draw the lightning bolt. Sweltering Suns is not an out anymore. That's the reason why he needs to kill the Champion of the Parish, because of Sweltering Suns. No, then he cannot. No, Sweltering Suns actually is good enough. Because you get to attack with Primeval Titan. So Sweltering Suns is a reason not to block with Primeval Titan. Because then you get to swing after playing it, get 2 mountains or even Valakut Mountain, deal 6, kill the Champion of the Parish, and still keep your Titan in play.
So a lot of factors to consider here for Nielsen as he figures out how he's going to block.
If he double blocks, he gets rid of it, gets a 3-3, but he's still dead next turn. If he doesn't double block, he keeps the Primeval Titan in play in case he draws Sweltering Suns. Yeah,
so
I think it's slightly better to just block with the Tractusk.
Looks like a double block is being lined up. Nope. Okay, we're back to the drawing board. Here we go. Nielsen really having to have a think about things. Autumn Burchett sitting cool, calm and collected. She knows what she's up to. Looks like we're going to see the double block. Oh, look at that. Really thinking about it. And both of them hit the bin, as we see now a beast come out.
That's quite the ugly beast.
Excuse me. Looks like an original piece of artwork there.
It looks like a 5/5 beast.
Does look like a 5/5 beast. Oh, we need a 3/3 beast. There we go. Fix that one up. And Burchett ships it back to Nielsen now, who needs to draw a lightning bolt. One time. What can he find? Zup. It is a lightning bolt off the top. It's a lightning bolt off the top for Simon Nielsen. That means this game...
he doesn't have enough mana. No, he needs to pay 1 more because of Talia. Oh, shit. Otto is like, yeah, you need to pay 1 more. Oh, he needs to scoop them up. No.
He can't do it, Thalia. The tax on Thalia, meaning, of course, that Nielsen isn't able to snap off the lightning bolt in addition to that scape shift.
Simon could not... He played bad last turn. He should not have played the pact. Well, he should have played it, but he should have grabbed the Titan.
Okay.
That would have allowed him to get 2 more lands in play, and then this turn he could have paid twice 1 mana.
Yeah, right. So a slight misstep there from Simon Nielsen, and once again, Thalia, Guardian of Thraben, comes to wreak havoc with the best laid plans of mice and men, as she will so often do.
Yeah,
this card,
good card.
Yeah,
very good in this format.
Very, very good in this format. Dominated by cheap spells, cheap interaction, and of course in this matchup here, all sorts of sorceries that go and fetch up extra lands.
Autumn making sure that we know that she's cybering 3 Burrington Forge Tender, showing them to the camera.
Okay. Now, this card is not that good against Scape Shift.
No, but it's good against Anger of the Gods. And
It is good against Anger of the Gods, but it's a pitfall that many people fall into here. Obviously, protecting against sweepers, whatever else, Burrington Forge Tender can do very good work. No good against Valakut.
No.
Despite
she's playing 4 Magus of the Moon, I'm guessing. It does protect her Magus of the Moon against the most important. And that Magus of the Moon is good against Valakut, so protecting your Magus of the Moon is probably what you want to be doing.
So it's the transitive property there.
Yep.
Yeah. If the Burrington Forge Tender protects your Magus of the Moon and the Magus of the Moon is good against Valakut, then
the Burrington Forge Tender is good against Valakut. Yeah,
sure.
That's something like that.
That's exactly how it goes. That's the sort of argument that Frank Carsten would make, I think.
And if the
okay, taking them out. That's actually a big. I know it's a big help for us as well as we see the Path to Exile, the Avacyn's Pilgrim come out.
We should make this
mandatory
among pro players.
Call it the Birchett sideboarding policy. I'm a big fan of that. Big fan of that.
Yeah,
certainly makes takes the guesswork out for us.
Oh yeah, that as well. The Magus was actually. Was it a 4/4? Yeah, it was.
Oh, so the lightning bolt no good at this stage, of course.
But even with the 1 mana.
Yeah, even with the Thalia attacks.
Yeah. So there was double insurance.
Double insurance. Insurance policy all over the place. She's popped down to the local insurance office and be like, yes, I'll have one of everything, please. One of everything. Fire, flood, theft, third party, give me it all. And yes, handily scooping up a win there. Birchett doing very, very well indeed. And Nielsen now with his back against the wall. 1 game down. He's going to have to dig deep and get in with game number 2 if he's wanting to protect this 4-0 record that he's put together so far. Scape Shift is in a good position, I have to say. I think it's a deck that a lot of people have rather wisely chosen to bring to bear this weekend. It's not the most interactive deck on the face of it, but its power level is very, very high indeed.
It's hard for me to believe a deck with 27 lands, 12 ram spells on 2 is good. It's very hard for me to believe, but I've heard people say it's good.
Yeah.
I mean, I still don't get how it's good against decks with Thoughtseize, because either you have too many expensive spells and they take your ram spells, or you have enough ram spells and then they take your expensive spells. So, I don't know.
Well, the deck is remarkably consistent. That's one of the draws to it, is that it's not hard to get the... I mean, you're playing 4 obs everything, essentially. 4 obs, maybe 3 obs. And you're giving yourself a lot of opportunities to draw the nut hand, basically, like the Search for Tomorrow into the double ram spells, into Hour of Promise. This is the key piece of technology that has been brought in thanks to Hour of Devastation. Hour of Promise only costing 5 is key. It's so important because if you play the natural ramping game, on turn 3 you'll be able to cast an Hour of Promise.
The natural turn 1 search, turn 2...
Yeah. Turn 1 search, turn 2 Farseek or Secure Tribelt or whatever else. And the fact that you don't have to wait until turn 4 to cast your Titan. You can cast a legless Titan essentially on turn 5. Really, really important.
Yep.
And the fact that obviously it searches out any land is probably the most important part of the card. And we saw Peter Sachurek paying the price for misremembering the exact text of the card in an earlier match, of course. But no, Hour of Promise is the real deal, and added some extra depth to this deck here. A lot of counting, lot of numbers, a lot of 3 times tables. Got to make sure you're on top of that. Moraine Lambert, certainly a difficulty for some of us,
primary
school included. Oh yeah, look, I don't know.
Can't forget the basics.
No, that's it.
Let's see, 3, 6, 9, 12,
12, 15, 17. Yeah, it's tricky. It's hard stuff, man. And then you start when you've got multiple Valakuts.
Oh no.
You've got to start the 2 times table gets in there
6,
as well.
12, 18, 24, 30. I got it.
You got it. You're all over it.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. 4 search for tomorrow.
Oh, look at this. Has he got the... He's the
quads.
He's drawing the natural quads, ladies and gentlemen. 4 search for tomorrow. He's not searching for tomorrow. He's searching for bloody Tuesday. Autumn Birchett, on the other hand, seems to have a rather tamer hand here. Can't get a good look at it, but I do see at least an Avacyn's Pilgrim. So both these players looking to ramp early, ramp hard.
Do we keep this? No, you cannot keep that, Simon.
No, away it goes. Away it goes. Oh, see you next Tuesday, he says to his quads search for tomorrow as they head into the bin. And we're going to go down to 6 for Simon Nielsen. Birchett also joining him and taking a mulligan.
That's also a part I don't like about the deck, is that your lands are also important, so mulliganing hurts it a lot.
Okay.
Like in other matchups, like you don't really need excess lands, but with Titan, you Titan Shift, you really need 6 or 7 lands. So mulliganing is quite rough with the deck.
That's an interesting point because, yeah, I mean, we look at lands as being, in many cases, dead cards, especially in the late game. You know, you want to draw your first 3, 4, 5, whatever it is, depending on the size of your deck. But in the broadest terms, those lands become lightning bolts, free lightning bolts, and sometimes even more than that. They do 6, 9 damage in some cases as the longer the game goes. So flooding out as a Scapeshift player, not such a big issue. Mulliganing certainly can be, though, as you said, Moraine.
Especially now with Hour of Promise, you will usually have a Valakut or 2 in play.
Yeah.
So if you resolve that one, each mountain is 6 damage. And imagine if your opponent is playing Dead Shadow, he'll usually be at 6 life or 9, and then just play 2 mountains.
Yeah, for sure.
That's like 1 land this time around with Sakura, Lightning Bolts. Yeah.
Snapcape?
On the play. Tough keep, especially because it has the double Scape Shift, which is a mulligan as well.
Down to 5 as well. Down to 5 here for Simon Nielsen. That's not what you want to see. Burchett looks pretty happy with her 6. I can see a Cavern of Souls, another land. Looks like a Windswept Heath, and obviously she's going to be able to enact some kind of a game plan here. But unfortunately for the Dane, down to 5 after having lost game number 1.
Cavern of Souls is such a good card in her deck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like City of Brass, which makes all of your creatures uncounterable, except that you don't even have to take 1 damage.
Yeah. And this is something that we see, especially in older formats. Your tribal decks aren't obviously at their finest in Legacy and Vintage, but you know, every now and again in Vintage there's a human beatdown deck, and where the Cavern of Souls is just 5 colors. You're casting Reflector Mages, you're casting Dark Confidence. Sometimes
there's even single offs in Workshop. No, Cavern of Souls.
Cavern of Souls.
Yes. Well, it might have been before Lodestone Golem was restricted.
Okay. Looks like Burchett's going downstairs with her scry. Nielsen on the top, however, so he's obviously got a land waiting there for his sake. Obviously hoping that it's untapped green source, seeing as he's got these double Farseek. Burchett, on the other hand, she's got some decisions to make. A Noble Hierarch looks like it'll join the fray nice and early here. Windswept Heath.
There's something to be said to just go for a forest here, because you want to stay at 19.
Yeah.
Remember, she would have lost if she had been at 18 last game.
Yep, because this is what happens with Scapeshift. Scapeshift plus 7 lands is 18 damage, and that's obviously enough to put most of your opponents dead in Modern, because so many of so much of the incidental damage they do to themselves with fetch lands. You're absolutely right.
I wonder if she'll go for Talia or Magus. I guess she goes for Magus, what she sees. Although you cannot search a forest with Farseek, right?
No, you cannot search for basic forest.
Because otherwise that could have rang a bell.
Mm-hmm. Nielsen would have realised what was up here, but no, Burchett now with the option to leverage one of these cards. Path to Exile, the draw for her. And it's Cavern of Souls. Naming human, one would imagine. Champion of the Parish and Thalia. Okay, so that's the play here for Burchett. Obviously not looking to go after Nielsen's mana base just yet. He does have the answer.
Look at that.
However, in a lightning bolt. Ooh. Sweltering Suns.
It's a pretty good one.
So hot.
Cannot play it now, though.
No, Nielsen without too many ways to put himself ahead here. It looks like we're just going to see a Farseek instead. Plus a Valakut, so he is hitting his land drops. This has been a decent 5 so far, and this Sweltering Suns is giving him an opportunity to come right back into it.
Unfortunately, it does get to search up a mountain, so that actually searches the Cinderglade. Since Simon doesn't have double basic land yet, he wants his Cinderglades out of his deck.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, he could search up Stomping Ground. If you have like 2 basics in play, you want to draw Cinderglade, because then it comes into play untapped. But now you kind of want to draw Stomping Ground, because at that point you at least have the choice between it coming into play untapped if you pay 2 life, or it coming into play tapped.
So now, Thalia's Lieutenant.
Is the champion going to be big enough? But yeah, there's still...
So the champion will survive the Sweltering Suns
but there's still Lightning Bolt, so... It's a lot of damage.
So Nielsen will be able to clear the board here, but that will leave him without any way to interact with this Magus of the Moon, unless he's holding double bolt. Sweltering Suns. 3 to everything. And then rather tidily, a lightning bolt to finish off the champion of the parish. So we're back to board parity now. Of course, Simon Nielsen with a lonely Primeval Titan in hand.
Now she's going to play the Magus.
The Magus of the Moon, exactly.
Is that a Nissa? Or the Burnt on Forge Tender?
So Magus of the Moon, meaning that Nielsen cannot cast this Primeval Titan, but no worries, he's playing Roast. 2 in the main for Simon Nielsen. And now Burchett is going to have to find some more gasoline here as we see Thalia's Lieutenant in addition to the Forge Tender. And all of a sudden, Nielsen is now turning the corner, and it looks like it's going to be slightly edging towards his advantage here as Primetime comes down.
Yeah, and he's got 2 Valakut, 4 mountains, so it searches up 2 stomping grounds. That means 6 mountains in play, which triggers the Valakut twice, so that's 12 damage. He can kill both the creatures and deal 6.
And this is the sort of turnaround that we can see coming out of Scapeshift here as we see Basic Mountain come down in addition to a Stomping Ground. An interesting choice here for Nielsen, but that means that there will be 4 Valakut triggers.
Shoot you for 12.
Going straight upstairs here. Of course, Burrington Forge Tender does not work against Valakut.
And now everything in Simon's deck is 6 damage. Pretty much everything except like Lightning Bolt, which is only 3.
Which is only 3, and Forest, which is 0.
Yeah, but there's like 1 copy. She cannot even attack before... Yeah, she needs to Path to Exile, which is 6 damage.
And Primeval Titan now nearly only needs to attack, not only 6 trampling damage, but also the 2 mountains that the Giant can fetch out. Path to Exile. Going to get a mountain, and of course, ding you for 6. Burchett down to 1. And it's going to have to be an incredibly lucky string of draws for Burchett to keep her snoot above water here.
Forest. Except that there's only 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm. So Thalia's Lieutenant.
He drew the Burnt and Forge Tender 1 turn too late.
Yeah, that would have changed everything had that been able to prevent the Sweltering Suns here. Search for tomorrow, get a mountain, and ding you for another 6. So Burchett goes down in game number 2. Simon Nielsen, impressive stuff from him, Moraine.
Yeah.
On a mulligan to 5.
Mulligan to 5.
Stitched it together.
But he had the the Sweltering Suns off the top was just too much.
Yeah, plus the Bolt as well to finish off that champion of the parish. So Nielsen getting up and about and getting himself back into this this match here, tying things up at 1-1. But I think Nielsen is going to have to rely very heavily on sweepers like, for example, Sweltering Suns, Anger of the Gods as well. And, I mean, the choice between the 2 is quite interesting. Do you want to talk about why you might favour one over the other here?
Sweltering Sun cycles, which is important in the matchup where it doesn't do anything. A card like Anger of the Gods exiles, which might be important against Kitchen Finks.
So if that's the case, I mean, with my experience with Scapeshift, you don't often have 3 mana lying around to cycle your Sweltering Suns. But would you immediately then think that perhaps Sweltering Suns is the better main deck card and Anger of the Gods is the better sideboard card?
Yeah, it makes kind of sense. Although against the control decks, you usually have 3 mana lying around.
Okay.
So cycling there isn't that big of a problem. It's kind of slow to cycle, but that's not a problem against control because you have enough time usually, and you want to resolve like 2 or 3 big threats in 1 turn, so they don't get to mana leak you out of it.
Well, Sweltering Sun certainly, again, as a reasonably fresh piece of technology here for modern players. I mean, Anger of the Gods very important against, as you say, Kitchen Finks, any graveyard-based decks. Dredge, of course, an absolute hoser there. But the extra flexibility of being able to cycle away a dead sweeper, especially in game 1, I really like Anger of the Gods as a sideboard card. And if I'm looking to main deck 3 damage sweeper effects, I'm going to go with Sweltering Suns in the main.
The question is this format not too fast to play Sweltering Suns? Because against most decks, like I'd say 70% of the matches, you won't get the time to cycle for 3.
No, that's true, but
isn't so maybe the upside of Anger of the Gods might be big enough against the other.
But if you're playing against a deck like Affinity, the card is more or less exactly the same.
Yeah, in that matchup, but it's the green-white decks where Kitchen Finks, Voice of Resurgence, there's Stretch.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
so
probably...
you think you'd rather have that advantage?
It's hard to... It really depends on the metagame, I guess. If these decks are 20% of the metagame, it might be worth going for Anger of the Gods.
It's just, I mean, Celestial Colonnade
also
seems to be on the up and up. This is a deck against which you always want the Sweltering Sun.
If you run Anger of the Gods in the main, you also save yourself some sideboard cards, which might matter as well.
Well, this debate will rage on as both of these players consult their opening grips here. Burchett presumably on the play here. She's looking to get off to an aggressive start with this human-based deck.
Problem with Burnt and Force Tender is that it's A, not a human, 2, doesn't put a lot of pressure, and 3, doesn't do anything against the Scape Shift or the Primeval Tide.
So both players happy with their 7. We're off to the races. Burnt and Forge Tender is going to open things up here for Burchett, so that's a nice bit of sweeper insurance here against an Anger of the Gods, or indeed a Sweltering Suns, but as you say, not effective against Valakut.
Also gets a basic planes. So
okay. Signal.
Simon, yeah.
Signaling.
Or trying to, like, fake the Magus of the Moon, which she doesn't have. I don't think she has it. No.
Interesting kind of mind games going on here, of course. Nielsen has to respect the fact that the Magus of the Moon could come down.
Get in there, little Kitkin.
Yep. Forge Tender. And it's Cavern of Souls now, and we're going to see Thalia's Lieutenant. There is little Burnt Forge Tenderino. Nice little niche card to protect you when red decks are looking to Sconia. Another Burnt Forge Tender off the top. Obviously, Burchett values this card highly against Scape Shift, as she's brought in all 3 copies. Horizon Canopy.
Oh, look
Takes
at that.
Burchett down to 18. Oh, yes. This is another pair. I want to talk about this card. So Nielsen worried about things like Stubborn Denial, and this is a way to kill a huge Death Shadow without actually having to play around something like a negate type effect. And Burchett's going to have a look at this card. Not one that everyone would be intimately familiar with, but it's a 6/1 that costs how much? 10, 16,
mana.
14 mana, and but it can be evoked for 3, and it'll do 6 damage when it enters the battlefield. Also, rather neatly, avoids the discard trigger of Reality Smasher.
Oh, yeah. And you're on top of it.
So here is the 6/1 being evoked, by the look of things. And it looks like we're just getting confirmation as to whether the Burrenton Forge Tender's ability is going to work against it.
It's a red source, so
Yep.
I'd say it would work against it. And as she's holding a second copy, she can easily do that. I feel like Simon is probably happy this is happening, but he doesn't know about the second Burrenton Forge Tender.
So, away it goes by the look of things, and we're going to see the Burrenton Forge Tender sacrificed here, if that's the way that Burchett wants to play it. Having a think about it, she is.
She just needs to be sure.
Well, I guess the discussion here is, of course, it's because the ability of the evoke ability means that the creature is also leaving the battlefield at some point. So, what is the target of the ability here? A red source of your choice. It would be the Spike Bellows, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Regardless of where it actually is, and as we see it pans out exactly as we wrote it up. The Spike Bellows goes away, and the Burrenton Forge Tender, having protected her colleagues, and they live to fight another day. Averson's Pilgrim joining the fray along with Champion of the Parish.
And this is the card Simon doesn't want to seek out.
And a second one.
This is game. No, the Champion of the Parish
Champion of the
does
Parish
not have wave haste.
cannot attack just yet.
Would be pretty good.
Yes, would be very good indeed. Hold your horses there, Burchett, as she gets in now with the other creatures here. So that's a big attack. That's an attack for 8 here. And Simon Nielsen down to 8. His back's against the wall. Sweltering Suns. You're going to see, of course, a snap, an immediate... Another pact. Okay. Simon Nielsen going down in style. He's going to die to double pact
No,
here.
he's
No,
not.
he's not. He's going to die to damage.
Unless Autumn doesn't attack.
So Autumn needs to not attack here.
Imagine not attacking, then
Yeah.
Simon goes Metamorphose.
Yeah.
Angel's
Searing
Grace.
her ritual. Is she going to play it? How is she going to play it out? Simon Nielsen needs to pay 8 mana on his upkeep to stay alive here with 3 lands in play. Burchett, has he got it? She's trying to figure it out. She does have the clear attack for the win with Nielsen tapped out as well. Will she ship? She passes the turn. Simon Nielsen in his upkeep. Trigger on the stack. And unfortunately for Simon Nielsen, going down
to his own pact.
To his own pack trigger there, unfortunately. So going out with style all the same. And Simon Nielsen, a man who absolutely loves every minute he gets to play of this game. And I'm sure he'll still have a smile on his face after having suffered this very worthy defeat in the hands of Autumn Burchett, who moves on to 5-0 with this green-white humans list. It does, of course, have red in it for the Magus of the Moon. But very entertaining stuff from both of these players here.
I like this deck. I hope we get to see more of it.
Well, I'm sure we'll check in later on with Autumn Burchett and her deck, and maybe Simon Nielsen as well, depending on how the cards fall in his way. Stick around, my friends. We've got more magic coming away from GP Birmingham. Right now we've got to take a quick break, but on the other side of it, of course, Rich Hagan will be stepping into the booth with a special guest to take you through some Time Walk magic. So, Riley Knight, Moraine Libert saying goodbye for the time being, but stick around. Plenty more stuff coming your way from GP Birmingham.